Yellowstone National Park is one of the most famous locations in the United States, and its natural beauty draws in millions of visitors each year. Famous for its stunning wildlife, Yellowstone is home to the grizzly bears, wolves, bison, elk, and many other creatures. It also holds the honor of being the world's first national park, and it was established all the way back in 1872 by President Ulysses S. Grant. Yellowstone also features stunning geothermal features, including the Old Faithful Geyser. But while many people understand that these geothermal features are fueled by volcanic activity, few realize just how powerful this dormant volcano really is. Fewer still appreciate what would happen if that volcano ever erupted.
$51 million people entering another
surveillance camera capturing the
unidentified flying
lockdowns and mass testing.
Today, that the world is going to end.
Also known as the Yellowstone supervolcano, the Yellowstone caldera is the product of some of the most explosive volcanic eruptions in Earth's history. Measuring 43 miles wide in some places, the Yellowstone caldera is one of the largest volcanic systems in all of North America. In fact, the only bigger volcanic system on the planet is Lake Toba in Sumatra. Yellowstone's most notable recent eruption occurred 640,000 years ago, creating a blast that spanned 240 cubic miles. To put this in perspective, the eruption of Mount St. Helens in 1980 was 1,000 times smaller. Yellowstone also erupted 160,000 years ago, and once again 70,000 years ago, although these were smaller events. These small eruptions were nothing compared to the 3 cataclysmic eruptions that the Yellowstone caldera has seen. And here's the most important thing to remember. These super eruptions seem to occur every 600,000 years, and the last big one happened 640,000 years ago. That means we're long overdue for something truly apocalyptic. But just how bad would it be if another cataclysmic supervolcanic eruption occurred at the Yellowstone caldera? The major cities surrounding Yellowstone are Salt Lake, Rapid City, Billings, Boise, Cheyenne, and of course, Denver. Experts say that if another supervolcanic eruption ever occurred, these cities would be buried in up to 10 feet of ash. Of course, the residents would suffocate long before they were buried. Consider the residents of ancient Pompeii and Herculaneum, when they were hit by the blast wave of Mount Vesuvius. Their blood literally boiled in their veins, and some of their brains were vitrified by the intense heat. And that was nowhere near as powerful as the Yellowstone caldera's most significant eruptions. While the eruption of Mount St. Helens was probably a 5 on the VEI, a Yellowstone supereruption would most likely rank at an 8, the highest possible rating. The eruption would send chunks of superheated rock and magma 14 miles into the sky. Everything within a 40-mile radius would be destroyed. The last major eruption years ago ejected 1,000 cubic kilometers of rock, dust, and ash into the atmosphere. The initial blast and the blanket of ash would be terrible, but that would only be the beginning of our problems here in the United States. Virtually all crops in the surrounding areas of Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, and Colorado would be crushed and killed. The ash cloud would also blot out the sun. This would cause major food shortages across the country, and there's no guarantee that the toxic ash wouldn't spread across the rest of the nation, damaging other crops as well. It all depends on which way the wind was blowing when the eruption occurs. What is clear, however, is that America's farmlands would be completely ruined for about 25 years. Our electrical grid would also suffer from major issues. Power plants would shut down, and power lines would be destroyed. Transformers would also short out, and even our sewer lines would be blocked. FEMA estimates that a super eruption of this magnitude would cause trillions of dollars worth of damage, and the economy would completely crash. But Americans wouldn't be alone in their suffering. A volcanic winter would occur, with an ash layer cooling our lower atmosphere for up to 10 years, maybe more. Crops around the entire planet would fail, creating worldwide hunger. In addition, people hundreds of miles away from the volcano may suffer serious respiratory issues due to the ash in the air. Coupled with electrical issues, this could result in most of the population dying within about a month. Air travel would be virtually impossible in many areas of the globe. Of course, this is all just theoretical. The last time humans experienced a supervolcanic eruption was 74,000 years ago, back when we were still primitive hunter-gatherers. This was the Toba eruption, and scientists believe that it almost completely wiped out our race from the face of the Earth. But with all that said, the United States would obviously suffer the most from a Yellowstone super eruption, and Yellowstone National Park would essentially become a giant hole in the ground. So we're long overdue for a Yellowstone super eruption, but is this really going to happen anytime soon? The official story is that this is extremely unlikely. Mainstream scientists even tell us that Yellowstone may never erupt again, but when you look a little more closely at the situation, you start to see some worrying signs. On just May 11th of this year, 2022, Yellowstone National Park was hit by a 4.2 magnitude earthquake. This was the largest quake in more than 5 years, and some say it could be a warning.
A 4.2 magnitude earthquake rattled parts of Yellowstone National Park today, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. That quake, which occurred around 7:30 this morning, shook the area between Yellowstone National Park and Shoshone National Forest. The USGS says the earthquake was reported to be nearly 9 miles deep.
In July of 2021, it was reported that earthquake activity had risen 400% above normal. Scientists say that once we start seeing magnitude 4 earthquakes, or hundreds of smaller earthquakes per day, Yellowstone could be about to blow. Animals have also been acting very strangely in Yellowstone over the last few years. There have been reports of bison stampeding, almost like they're running away from some kind of threat. In addition, clusters of bison and bears have been found dead, apparently due to hydrogen sulfide poisoning that seeped out of the ground. These animal deaths could be caused by new geothermal cracks appearing in the ground, but mainstream scientists still claim that a super eruption is very unlikely. They say the magma reservoir underneath the caldera is mostly solid, and there's not enough molten lava to create an eruption. Scientists also claim that the chances of a Yellowstone eruption are so small that we're more likely to be hit by a civilization-ending asteroid in the near future. But does any of that really make sense? The elevation of the Yellowstone Plateau has been rising faster and faster over the years, a clear indication that an eruption is coming. New research is constantly changing the way we view the Yellowstone caldera. Previously, we assumed that we would have hundreds of years of warning before a super eruption. Today, scientists believe that a super eruption could be triggered within decades, possibly even less. And if mainstream scientists claim that there's virtually no chance of Yellowstone erupting, then why are they actively trying to stop it from happening? NASA has announced an ambitious plan to defuse an eruption before it takes place. The plan is incredibly crude, and it involves simply drilling a hole into the side of the caldera and pumping water into the volcano. Of course, there are those who say that this could actually make the problem worse. triggering an eruption instead of preventing it. One thing is clear: Mother Nature is unpredictable. Scientists may claim that they know exactly when the volcano is going to erupt, but the truth is that we haven't been around for long enough to make these predictions with any real sense of accuracy. And if scientists did know that a super eruption was coming, then would the authorities really make this knowledge known to the public? Would they really want to spark widespread panic, causing everyone to move away from the caldera? Here's the thing: Yellowstone is just one of many supervolcanoes on the planet. These super eruptions happen almost every 100,000 years, and they have the power to wipe out human civilization. It might sound like a cliche, but it's true. A super eruption is only a matter of time.